Here are the top 5 games that you need to play during Steam Next Fest 2024 in order. Coming in at number 5 is Pepper Grinder. What if you took one of the best parts of Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which was the innovative burrow ability that allowed Ori to move through the sand like a tremor without requiring the vibration of footsteps, and created a whole game around that ability? Now, how about if you infused it into a retro aesthetic? The answer would be Pepper Grinder. The platforming is very satisfying, and it quickly became challenging and gave the indication that this is going to be the kind of game that you need to get into the zone to play. As excited as we are about all of the great experiences coming this year, we're also hoping that 2024 will be a big year for our little outlet. We're trying to get to 15,000 subs, and we're trying to do this by cultivating a place without toxicity and focusing on the positivity of gaming. If that sounds like your thing, subscribe, like the video, or comment. All or any of those will help us reach our goals, and as always, be nice to your fellow gamer, but more importantly, be nice to your fellow human. Number 4, Children of the Sun. It's been described as Super Hot meets Sniper Elite, and that's exactly what it is. I can't describe it any better, but if you're tired of shooting Nazis, or the war theme of Sniper Elite just wasn't for you, then you might enjoy Children of the Sun, and how it adds a huge layer of puzzle and style to the Sniper Elite formula. Using one bullet, you need to wisely try to take everyone down at a cult that you're trying to escape in the most efficient and innovative way possible, like headshots or exploding cars. Number 3, Dicefolk. I haven't found anything that scratched my Slay the Spire itch since it released nearly 5 years ago. While we are still waiting for the next big thing from Megacrit, there have been lots of deck building roguelites, but most lack the easy to play and hard to master addictive quality of climbing that spire. There are lots of similarities, but Dicefolk feels wholly unique. First, there's the dice, recruiting chimera or monsters or pals or whatever you want to call them to fight for you, controlling what the enemy does using their dice. Dicefolk gives the player lots of autonomy on how they approach their journey, companions that they choose to fight with, and how to strategize. The demo is fairly short, but with solid mechanics, a pretty art style, a serene soundtrack, and an addicting gameplay loop, I can see this filling the Slay the Spire void fairly easily. The only downside is that Dicefolk isn't optimized for the Steam Deck just yet. It works fine, but you do need to use touch on everything. Number 2, Custodian. Metroidvanias are a dime a dozen these days, but this hasn't stopped amazing experiences that emerge from the pack, but it's definitely much less frequent because it's all been done. They almost all use the same classic side-scrolling formula, making it more challenging to separate the chaff from the wheat. With just a simple change of perspective, Custodian jumps out as one of the freshest Metroidvanias that I've played in a while. The opportunity to garner attention is not wasted as the combat feels satisfying, the controls feel responsive, and the world is fantastical as it yearns to be explored thanks to its beautiful aesthetics and haunting, ethereal score. I can't wait to get lost in the underworld of Custodian. Fans of games like Hyper Light Drifter, Tunic, and Death's Door should wishlist this game. It's a good sign when you can't wait to play more of the demo, but I think it's an even better sign when you don't want to go any farther in the demo because you don't want the whole experience spoiled. After playing the demo of Haunty for about 15 minutes, I realized that all I needed was 15 seconds of this unique afterlife experience to be enthralled. It's part mystery, it's part exploration, part puzzle, part twin-stick shooter that all combine into something that feels like nothing that I've ever played before. Experiencing a game that feels unique is a very endangered species. The art style and the animations are exquisite, the score was incredible, and the game constantly evoked feelings that I felt from Zelda, Playdead, and Journey. All signs point to Haunty becoming the next big thing to transcend the indie scene and capture the spotlight in a big way. Haunty was by far the best demo that I played during Steam Next Fest.